His Excellency Mauricio Nine, Ambassador of Argentina to Singapore, esteemed speakers from Argentina and Singapore, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to our guests in Singapore and good evening to our guests joining us from Argentina. Welcome to the Singapore Business Federation and Latin America Business Group's webinar on bridging opportunities in fintech between Singapore and Argentina. My name is Karina Brown, and I work at the Latin America desk at SBF. I will be your host for this webinar for the next 1.5 hours. Firstly, I would like to thank our co-organizer, the Embassy of Argentina in Singapore, for their help in making this event come true. Additionally, I would like to warmly thank our partners, Argentine Chamber of Fintech, Argentina Chamber of Software Industries SESI, Singapore Fintech Association SG Tech, and our supporter Enterprise Singapore. Before we go to our first speaker, I would like to show you a short video about how we help Singapore companies expand overseas. And that was our video about Global Connect at SBF. In summary, we connect your business to global opportunities. These slides will be shared with you after the webinar, so you can refer to the summary of our services there. Please scan the QR code to visit our Global Connect website for more details. Now we will have a short poll on the business grant. We know that going overseas requires a lot of assistance and resources support, other than the expert advice shared by companies who have ventured into the country before. Financial support could be pivotal to provide the much needed push to venture out successfully. If you're interested to know more about the grants or financial assistance programs available to be tapped for overseas expansion, please indicate your interest in the poll and we will get back to you soon. Thank you. And now I would like to just talk about the gentle disclaimer. All information provided in this webinar is for your general information only and accurate as of publication date. The materials presented in this webinar belong to the organizers and speakers. This webinar is being recorded and will be posted on Singapore Business Federation's YouTube channel. Just some housekeeping rules. By default, you would be muted when you joined the webinar. There's a Q&A function on Zoom where you can type your questions. We will try to answer all your questions. However, those unanswered will be attended to after the webinar. We have a busy program ahead of us today, including industry presentations from Argentina and Singapore, and sharing by Argentinian FinTech companies. Before we move on to the industry presentations, I would like to introduce our first speaker, Mr. Prasoon Mukherjee, Chairman and founder of Universal Success Enterprises and Global Connect at SBF committee member, who will be giving the welcome remarks to us. Mr. Prasoon, over to you, please.
Thank you, Karina. Thank you for introducing me. Am I clear?
Yes.
Okay. Your Excellency Mauricio Nine, Ambassador of Argentina to Singapore, and a very good personal friend of mine. Esteemed speakers, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, hola. On behalf of the Singapore Business Federation, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the SBF Latin America Business Group FinTech webinar. The Latin America Business Group was launched by SBF in early 2021, and this underscored the importance of the Latin America region as a key market for Singapore businesses, which remain keen to invest and trade with the continent. Singapore and Argentina share friendly bilateral relations with trade and economic cooperation as one of the main components. Relations with Argentina have expanded in recent years with regular exchanges of high-level visits. Singapore is currently negotiating a free trade agreement with Mercosur, which comprises Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay, and Uruguay. Argentina is one of the largest economies in the fast-growing Latin American region. Last year, bilateral trade between Singapore and Argentina amounted to Singapore $300 million, which was an increase of 13% from 2019. The main products traded were electrical and boiler machinery, mechanical appliances, and motor vehicle parts. The market conditions for doing businesses between Argentina and Singapore are bright. Argentina FinTech companies looking towards venturing into Southeast Asia market can consider partnering with Singapore companies who are experienced business leaders in the region. Argentina ranks among the top 3 countries in the world in terms of IT talents across different sectors, with an ecosystem of more than 140 public educational institutions and 120,000 IT professionals employed. The IT sector exported over US dollar 5.6 billion worth of knowledge-based services in 2021, which is a big figure. At this webinar, you will hear insights about the Argentinian fintech landscape, as well as opportunities for Singapore companies to grow in Latin America through partnership with Argentinian fintech companies. For Singapore companies, we strongly encourage you to consider partnering with Argentinian fintech companies, given its growing market attractiveness and gateway to Latin America. With a population of more than 650 million people across 33 countries and a GDP of US dollar 5.49 trillion in 2021, Latin America represents a unique opportunity for Singapore companies to expand their businesses, and Argentinian FinTech, the best partners for that. In a short while, we will listen, and we are honored to have His Excellency Mauricio Nain, Ambassador of Argentina to Singapore, to give his welcome remarks. We are equally delighted to have 6 Argentinian fintech companies which are ready to speak with Singapore companies via B2B meetings after the webinar. They are Action Fintech, Itld Crowder, GL Group, Red Bee, Y-Bond. Singapore is pleased to welcome you, and we look forward to having more Argentinian companies expand their businesses here. For Singapore companies, Global Connect at SBF is here to assist you in your overseas expansion plan. The Global Connect at SBF team will work together with you to land your businesses overseas and help you scale and grow the right strategies. In closing, I wish you a very fruitful webinar and every success in your collaboration journey with the Argentine fintech industries. And I'm also very, very thankful to Karina and the team led by you, who is doing an excellent job in the Latin American business group, kind of making it in a leadership, putting LABG in a leadership position in the Singapore Business Federation. And welcome, Mauricio Nain, again. Thank you.
Thank you, Prasoon, for your kind words. Now I would like to invite His Excellency Mauricio Nain, Ambassador of Argentina to Singapore, to speak. His Excellency, over to you, please.
Thank you very much, Karina. Am I clear? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning in Singapore and good evening, buenas noches in Argentina. Let me start by thanking my friend, Mr. Prasoon Mukherjee, Chairman of the Latin American Business Group within the Singapore Business Federation, for his welcoming remarks. But more than that, I would like to highlight his fruitful efforts to always seek opportunities to foster the business ties between Singapore and Argentina, as he also does with the ties of Singapore with other Latin American countries. Thank you, amigo Prasoon. I would also like to thank especially Karina Brown and all the Singapore Business Federation team who organized this event for doing a fantastic job despite the technical difficulties involved in bringing people together from opposite ends of the world. It is truly the best demonstration of how far we have come in terms of digital connectivity. I am very much looking forward to hearing the messages from both Mr. Ruben Lim, Chief Operating Officer of the Singaporean FinTech Association, and Mr. Mariano Bioca, Executive Director of the Argentine Chamber of Fintech, whose insights, given their expertise in this field, I am certain will prove invaluable. Thanks for sharing these views with us today. The relevant directorate of the Argentine Ministry of Foreign Affairs and also the team of the economic section of my embassy deserve our appreciation for their work in preparing this encounter. Most of all, I want to extend my warmest thanks to the Argentine fintech companies that are presenting their services today, and to those Singaporean companies and other participants who are online to learn more about what Argentina has to offer in the form of joint ventures, outsourcing of services, and investment opportunities in the field of fintech. Ladies and gentlemen, there is an ongoing transformation in the international commercial and financial scene, in which relatively new knowledge-based services are complementing and even replacing traditional ways of doing business and investment. In the financial sector, this transformation has been shaped by the emergence of fintech. This is companies which, like many of yours, provide innovative financial solutions based on new technologies to both traditional players in the sector and investors, merchants, and consumers in general. This introduction of fintech services into the market has generated several positive consequences and reconfigured the international financial scene, as they have, among other things, allowed the inclusion of citizens who are until now not able to access traditional financial schemes, promoted collective financial of crowdfunding programs for innovative projects, reduced transaction costs, facilitated the exchange of cryptocurrencies as well as of other means of payments, and made the most of digitization by supporting all traditional financial activities. While I must confess I am not an expert in fintech, I am fully aware of its importance and of the fact that it is very, very relevant in today's business environment. And that is why I'm very happy about today's event, especially when realizing how many people currently use fintech services on a daily basis without really giving it too much of a thought. In a sense, the naturalization of fintech as an ubiquitous set of tools and services in the market is a testament to its universality. And this is clearly marking the way forward in our increasingly digitalized societies and business environments. In a nutshell, fintech is here to stay, and we will be seeing more of it with each passing day. It is also, I'm happy to say, one area of knowledge where Argentina has a very clear expertise. As mentioned in the brochure of this event, and as was almost highlighted by Prasoon in his work, operated in my country, the same amount that Singapore has and the highest number for a Spanish-speaking country, 3 of these unicorns are fintech. This fertile IT environment, which has placed Argentina among the top 3 countries in the world in terms of IT, is due in no small measure to the high education level of its human resources. And with exports worth 7.86 billion in 2021 alone, I expect that Argentine IT sector is an attractive source of opportunities for Singaporean companies seeking to expand their operations in Latin America, a market of 650 million people, as well as with the rest of the world. These opportunities will, of course, also be further enhanced by the recently negotiated Mercosur-Singapore Free Trade Agreement, a stepping stone to a broader and deeper engagement between our 2 regions, which covers, amongst other issues, services and e-commerce. This will facilitate greater flows of investment, knowledge and innovation for people and enterprises. I hope this is a fruitful event and encourage you to engage in B2B virtual meetings in order to explore further opportunities between companies of my country and companies of this very dynamic global financial and technological hub, Singapore. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ambassador Nine, for the very interesting speech. Now, we would like to welcome you to listen to Mr. Ruben Lim, Chief Operating Officer at Singapore Fintech Association. This will actually be a pre-recorded video, as Mr. Ruben is currently traveling overseas. However, he's very generous with his time with us, and he will be talking to us for almost 20 minutes. We will stop sharing of the slides and show the video to you.
Right, good morning to all my friends in Singapore. Hi, my name is Ruben, and also good evening to our listeners and audience from Argentina. My name is Ruben from Singapore Fintech Association. I'm the Chief Operating Officer from the association. And before I start, I just want to give a shout out to Singapore Business Federation for giving us a chance to share about this Singapore Fintech landscape with everyone here. So what I'll do today is that probably I'll take you through very quickly the lay of the land of the fintech scene within Singapore itself. I will talk a bit on the funding level, and as well as to share with you some of the trends in Singapore, and also highlight why is Singapore the ideal fintech hub for not just only within the region, but even globally. So first and foremost, typically people look at Singapore as a springboard into the ASEAN region. Singapore is actually very, very small. We only have a population of, including all the residents, we are looking about 7 million. But what makes Singapore very, very interesting is that it is really a place that you can really try and test out your new products and all your POC that you would like to validate, you can validate here. And there's a few reasons why this is so precious here, because number one, we have very high purchasing power. Secondly, the openness to experience and try out solutions here is very, very high. And thirdly, we have a very sound regulatory system here that if you can operate within regulatory guidelines over here, you are probably very safe to operate in many of the developed worlds and the countries and nations that are around the region and around globally for that matter. Now, before I start, I just want to share an interesting observation that I make about Singapore. So Singapore is very interesting because it is a place that if I were to go to in Singapore, we have something what we call, to our audience in Argentina, we have something called hawker center or a food center. It is really one of those places where you do not get air condition. It's not exactly your high-end restaurants, but it's something where most Singaporeans consume our meals from. It's really very local, and you really get the best affordable food from Singapore within a hawker center. Now, what makes the place very interesting is that when I visit a hawker center, I carry a physical wallet, a real wallet, a leather wallet, or with cash and cards inside. I also carry a cell phone. And as you enter a place like hawker center, where every meal, every purchase will cost you from anything from $1.50 Singapore dollars to maybe up to $10 Singapore dollars, you can actually make a purchase with your fiat cash in your wallet, which we Singaporeans still carry. You can even some of them even accept a credit card from your physical wallet as well, all the way down to using your mobile phones. Whether you're using an Android phone or a Google phone, Android phone or Apple phone, and there's Apple Pay, Google Pay. They actually accept all these payment methods, down to even many forms of digital wallets that one may hold. So in Singapore, we have what we call GrabPay, FavePay, etc. And in fact, on top of that, we even have a connected e-wallet among the local banks, among selected players, and what we call PayNow. And then if I will take it even a step further, there is even the possibility of having a crypto wallet while crypto wallet is not being really accepted in the hawker center, but you have that in a mobile phone as well. But what I'm trying to drive here is that just on payments alone in Singapore, you can go from a very traditional method all the way to as digital as you would like to be, and for a purchase of as low as $1.50. And if I were to take that a step further within a cell phone itself, you can even have multiple different kind of financial apps, so including your investment, something what we call wealth tech. You can have even within the reg tech space, which in Singapore we define under fintech, will be your regulatory tech, things like your digital signature, your digital identity. Because in Singapore we have something called SingPass. So and every all these things can be found within your mobile wallet. Within your mobile phone. Now, so I have said a lot from the start, but I just want to, why I took the time to do this, because I just want to lay the ground to impress upon you that Singapore is an exciting place for one to start, because just on the payments landscape alone, from a B2C standpoint, from a C2C standpoint, you already have so many possibilities, and Singaporeans are so open to try, because bearing in mind that we still use fiat. Now, I would like to take you through quickly on the landscape, the investment landscape in Singapore. ASEAN on the whole, let me rephrase, Southeast Asia. So ASEAN stands for our friends, our listeners in Latin America and Argentina. ASEAN stands for Association of Southeast Asian Nations. It essentially is basically what we define as Southeast Asia, or C, and it's made up of 10 countries. And within these 10 countries itself, it is there are different articles and different people has been reporting the growth and the trajectory in Southeast Asia, but it's potentially going to be the 4th largest market as a region, collectively compared to within the rest of the world. So this place is one that you really want to highly check it out and observe, and especially with our growing population. But one thing about ASEAN that will be tricky, is that do take note that it is made out of 10 different countries with 10 different very cultures, even though some on the surface it may look seemingly very similar. Now, on the investment landscape, it is interesting to note that whatever numbers that you see over here is from a report that's collaboration between Singapore Fintech Association (SFA) with PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers, and UOB, which is one of the big local banks in Singapore. So we produce this report called ASEAN FinTech Landscape on a yearly basis, and this year will be our 4th year doing. So do look out for this report in November, where we'll be launching a Singapore FinTech Festival. On investment landscape, I will not take you through the whole details and numbers, but I just want to call out the fact that the investment numbers within the ASEAN region is growing. And as for September last year, we are looking at about close to $4 billion US being invested in fintech alone, and of which, in terms of the categorical breakdown of the type of fintech, you can see that more than half of the investments in this region goes to payment company. But one thing that's interesting is that if you look at all these smaller categories here, they're like alternative lending, RegTech, banking tech, investment tech, crypto, etc. There are investments being put in all aspects. So this also goes to show that whatever is your field that you belong to in Latin America or in Argentina, this is definitely a region that has a place for you. But if I were to go down a bit more detail, if you look into the kind of distribution, then what you will realize is that while it's true for the ASEAN region, but within the respective countries-wise, Singapore and probably Indonesia and a bit of Malaysia will be one of those countries that you will have a bit more of those diversity. Whereas there will be some countries where it's really leaning towards more on the payment space, more on the B2C kind of companies. Whereas in Singapore, we are very strong in B2B. I will even say maybe we are slightly stronger in B2B than compared to B2C by default because our consumer market is on the smaller end. But from one of these charts, I just want to identify is that in Singapore itself, we also attract slightly more than half of all the investments that goes into ASEAN. More than half are residing in Singapore in fintech companies. Another thing, maybe sometimes when you're looking at some of these numbers, it may be also good to delve a bit deeper because our market, our investment markets in Singapore is still one of the growing one. We were definitely not the biggest, and definitely we are growing, not the biggest in the world, and we are definitely growing. And it's because of this nature. Couple of the larger investment deals may sometimes dwarf the other smaller ones, but I think you have to look at when you look at such stats, look at both the investment quantum as well as the number of deals that's being invested. One of the things I also want to call out is that the type of fintech companies that are getting funding in this part of the world. So I think at least within in Singapore itself, you are safe to say that when it comes to pre-seed, seed, all the way to perhaps even Series A, pre-A, Series A, we have a lot of funding companies, VCs, family office, equity, private equities. These are we have a lot of these funding folks who are looking at this segment. So then, well, it may get lesser as you get higher when it comes to Series B, Series C. But I think what's important to note is that if you are a growing company from a startup going to a scale up, Singapore is definitely a good place for you because there are a lot of funding for this segment. Now, what makes Singapore a global fintech hub? And I think this is the part that I do want to spend a bit more time to illustrate. Singapore is exciting because we have very mature regulatory framework. And this is important because once the rules are clear, you will be able to then define your product and execute in an environment where you know that you will be able to operate peacefully, and the rules of engagement with your stakeholders and your partners are clear and easy to execute. And I think this is something that I just want to really call that out because on that note, having a license or being approved in Singapore becomes a coveted position, because with that it lends a very strong credibility to your business model and to your modus operandi. And on top of that, Singapore has a very strong ecosystem where fintech itself is not just a standalone. You need to be supported by the larger environment, the larger ecosystem. FinTech itself has to serve a larger community. And in Singapore, this large community is very stable. So, and it's really supported by the other elements. So let me give including the likes of finance industry. So within financial industry, at least you are safe to say that Singapore is one of the top 5 financial hubs in the world. The amount of transactions that go through here a day is astonishing. We are one of the more established and largest trade hub with a very established air links and sea links with the region or with the world. We have a very strong talent pool. We have 6 public universities in Singapore, and they're all highly ranked. And in fact, we are also very highly with high mobile penetration, and we are highly digital as a nation itself. And all these things kind of put together really makes Singapore a ideal place for you to set up your shop here, have your HQ base here, has your regional headquarters base here, and then from here you look into the region. And I think more importantly, as I mentioned earlier, within Southeast Asia itself, we have 10 different countries, almost 10 different language. I say that because even in Malaysia, probably the spoken language is Bahasa Malaysia, whereas when you go to Indonesia, it's Bahasa Melayu. And even though it sounds very similar, but there are also slight differences within these languages. And also to some extent, some practice as well, cultural practices. But all in all, you can find talent in Singapore who understand these cultural nuances and the differences, and they will be able to use your experience to help you grow your business in this part of the world. So I have said a lot about the investment landscape in Singapore and why is Singapore a good place to be in, and more importantly, how you can actually grow your business from Singapore. And at this point in time, this map, we are in the midst of updating this map. I just want to give you a flavor, which brings me back to the example that I used about the mobile phone and the physical wallet itself. It's really a landscape where there is something for everyone. So I will be very sure to say that your business will fall into one or the other. So there will always be potential partnership that you can form through our members here in Singapore. Now, I just want to spend the next 2-3 minutes to really kind of share with you what is trending in Singapore to give you a flavor. First and foremost, sustainability is real. So there are three trends that I kind of identify here. So I'll just maybe go on through. One is ESG and the environmental, social governance, or in the sense of sustainability and looking from another lens. We also have embedded finance and followed by Eminent Consolidation. So sustainability, I don't really like to use sustainability as equate to a trend, because it is not just a trend, but it is something that we need to act on. It is an action. So this is something that I think is a global thing. But definitely it is picking up quite a lot of steam in Singapore. And why I say this is because we not only have it's not only just in fintech, but within Singapore itself, we are also highly committed to be carbon neutral. And within Singapore itself, we actually have a national green office with a national green strategy to be implemented. And then if I were to bring it back closer to what we are talking about today in fintech, we even within our central bank and regulator called Monetary Authority of Singapore, MAS, that is a green fintech office set up. And even that within it, there's also a project green print that is being set out. I will not bore you with all the details, but more information is available online. But we have thought through a strategy where we can help financial institutions and all these stakeholders to come together using a lot of sharing a common data pool with different blocks so that it can perform various functions. And in Singapore, so one of the report that was, but I do have to mention that since we mentioned ESG, so there's a social element there as well. And there was a report that was highlighted that Singapore has one of the highest percentage of highest female CEOs globally. And so over here, gender, while I wouldn't say that we are perfect or we are ideal, but we are definitely very strong in meritocracy. We believe in merits. We believe in rewarding based on merits, and we definitely do not the gender equality here is definitely on the high side. The embedded finance is also another interesting part, because you will see more and more examples where fintech and finance is not just only limited to within the financial industry. More and more traditional companies and conglomerates are tapping into fintech solutions to extend or create more value offerings or product offerings to their customers. And this extension boils down to both B2B and B2C. And a simple embedded finance solution would really be just how a traditional company can use a fintech solution embedded within the offering to expand. And I'll give you a very simple example. One example would be in Singapore, we have this real estate development real estate company called CapitaLand. CapitaLand, if I remember correctly, is the Southeast Asia largest real estate developer. And within its retail malls itself in Singapore, there is an app, there's a customer loyalty app that's frequently being used called Capistar. And it's exciting because within the Capistar itself, within the app itself, you can actually make purchases around all the malls in Singapore, and every purchase that you make, there is the rebate that's being granted back to you. And that rebate is something that is embedded within the app itself, and it can be converted into cashback, into value to offset your next purchase immediately. You do not even have to wait for days or weeks in order to go to a counter, queue, and process. And instantaneously, you will get the rebate, and you can make it in your next purchase. And it's all done within the app. And by bearing in mind that they are not an IT company, they are not a technological company, they are a real estate company. But by tapping into such a software, tapping into such a solution, it actually increases stickiness and it becomes an extension of the product. And an application now becomes sort of like I won't call it a meta, but it's sort of like a go-to app, where a go-to application where it extends CapitaLand's offering beyond just a physical brick and mortar experience or store. Last but not least, I just want to talk a bit about Eminent Consolidation. While I know that this, to some people will be wondering, why is Ruben talking about this? Eminent Consolidation is actually real and everywhere, every part of the world. But more and more, what we are seeing here is that we are seeing non-fintech acquiring fintech. We are seeing fintech acquiring fintech, and this is so on the surface it may seem to you it's just pure acquisition or pure combining of product. But a deeper analysis here is that it is a maturing of an environment, because what we are seeing here is that more and more startups are now becoming scale-ups, which also means that in the near future we can experience more and more larger, stable, growing, profitable fintech companies coming up, because it is in that nature where it has come to the point where now it makes more sense as a business strategy to buy than build, and therefore you are seeing an increased rate of merging and acquisitions. And that is actually very exciting, because it really shows that within this space itself, while fintech in Singapore is only about 10 to 12 years, we are seeing very, very good developments here, and companies are getting stronger. And if you're looking for partners to go to ASEAN, within Southeast Asia, it's a good place where there are more and more such strong partners and businesses available for you to partner with. Now, with that, let me just end my sharing here. Thank you so much to SBF once again for inviting us or giving me the opportunity to share with everyone. I hope that through this sharing, I've given you a very good understanding about really what is the kind of investment landscape in Singapore, in Singapore and ASEAN, and also why is Singapore really a good choice for you to come to. And last but not least, share with you a couple of the trends that we are observing here right now. Thank you very much. And I may hand back to the Singapore Fintech Federation.
Thank you, Ruben, for your interesting and comprehensive presentation on Singapore fintech landscape. Next, we will hear from the Argentine Chamber of Fintech. Executive Director Mariano Biocca will talk about the role of the Argentina Chamber of Fintech in Argentina. This will be a short pre-recorded video, and then later we will hear from the Argentina companies themselves.
Hello, everyone. How are you? My name is Mariano Biocca. I am Executive Director at the Argentine. Hello, everyone. How are you? My name is Mariano Biocca. I am Executive Director at the Argentinian FinTech Association. The association was founded in 2017 by 13 companies. And right now, 4 years and a half after the foundation, we actually gather 230 fintech companies from Argentina and different countries of the region, which are operating here. Super briefly, our main objective is to be the connection hub for the whole fintech sector here in Argentina. Our goal is to organize the private sector and build robust bridges with the public sector, the regulators, the central bank, the local SEC, and different very important institutions for the regulatory development of the fintech space. We also build robust bridges with the academia. We work a lot with different universities and institutions in order to create a lot of fintech agenda and crypto agenda in different areas of the academia. And we also work a lot building bridges with different markets. So please don't hesitate in get in touch. We are absolutely happy to help both international companies to settle here in Argentina and Argentinian companies to settle abroad. So we are really happy to help. And please, as I just said, don't hesitate. We are here to give you a hand in anything you need. So I hope you have a great session. And well, that's it basically. I hope you enjoy the agenda. So big shout out to the Singapore Business Federation, the SBF, for generating this space. Bye bye.
Thank you, Mariano, for your kind words. We look forward to collaborating with you in the future as well. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to move on to one of the highlights of this webinar. We will get to hear directly from 5 Argentina FinTech companies. Now I would like to welcome our first speaker. You may see on the screen Mr. Horacio Lampe, but unfortunately he is unable to speak to us today, but we will get to hear from his colleague, Juan Manuel Pacheco. Juan, over to you.
Hi, well, thanks for your introduction. Thanks for the opportunity of share what we do. Looking forward to explore different business opportunities in Singapore Fintech ecosystem. We are from Action Fintech. What we focus on mainly, we are a company providing and we build solutions in the blockchain. So we are an Argentinian technology startup focused on blockchain and smart contract developments. We have a multidisciplinary team. We are 14 people from different IT areas, UX specialists, graphic designers, front-end and back-end programmers, Solidity programmers, React.js programmers. So this is mainly our team. And what we say always is that traditional companies must transform in order to survive. Are not the strongest companies the ones who will survive, instead the ones who better transform, adapt to the different realities and different changes in the economy and maybe sounds abstract, so we try to put it in concrete products. When I say blockchain solutions, mainly they are token creation platforms, NFT minting solutions. We are nowadays developing 2 big NFT marketplaces, also financial assets tokenizations, implementations of ICO and IDO projects, and also developing all decentralized solutions, DAOs, dApps, and DeFi. So these are mainly the things we focus on developing. So when I say NFTs, which is our target market? Our target market in Singapore that we are looking forward to make contacts are maybe tech companies, also advertising agencies, fintech companies, real estate developers, gaming companies, artists, athletes, and sports teams. All these could be possible customers for different blockchain developments. So that's what we are mainly interested on. When I say NFTs, we are able to provide a customized NFT minting solutions, and always NFTs are associated with art and those types of consumers, but also NFTs can be used for other purposes. That's maybe the real change of the NFTs and blockchain technology, that can be used not only for art and collectibles, just to buy and sell in OpenSea and earn easy money. The NFTs can be used in other ways. For example, NFTs as tickets for events, NFTs as, for example, a proof that you attend to a course. For example, here the webinar could means an NFT to all the attendants, and you can give us, for example, an NFT to prove that we were here, and we can post it on LinkedIn, on some social network. So the use of NFTs there are a lot of uses of NFTs, because these mainly characteristics, the immutable record, the timestamping, the ease of trading, the digital signature, the easy ownership transfer, and the portability in virtual wallets. You can have an NFT in your own wallet, in your own cell phone. So those are the advantages of the NFTs. So they are not only associated to art, and those consumes can be used in real life, the NFTs. So what we do personalized NFT marketplaces, and we also all the smart contracts, that is the technology behind the marketplaces, with lazy minting, mystery box. I mean, all our solutions are personalized according to our business and our partners. So also we provide the administration panel. I mean, through our platforms, the companies can use it, and the entire business can be done with our technology, and we provide like on-demand developments. These are just screenshots of our admin panel and the things that we can do. All the NFTs functionalities, the reliability, stats, ranking, all our products are compatible with OpenSea. And also we try to democratize the way of paying. So try to make easy to pay and obtain an NFT, not only with cryptocurrency, but also we have developed the possibility of purchasing an NFTs without a wallet, or using fiat money or credit card. So that's also an advantage of NFTs. And other possibilities that our company has also developed is a token creation platform, where the tokens are generated in less than 1 minute and no coding is needed. So you just enter to the platform and you just create your own token for different purposes. So that's also one use of the blockchain. Also, one important use of the blockchain that in some countries it's starting growing this business is the possibility of financial assets tokenization. What I mean by this, so an asset, a traditional asset, is digitalized and is tokenized and divided into different digital parts, and those assets can be traded, and has many advantages of this tokenization because the cost is reduced. It has lots of liquidity. There are low barrier entries, crowdfunding projects. So with this tokenization, with this characteristic of the blockchain, different new business can be explored and can be built thanks to the Web3 technology. So we are able to make partners with real estate companies who would like to tokenize different assets, a building or some asset. So there are great opportunities for investments and for investors to tokenize assets. Can be also crops, can be cereals tokenized. So there are many opportunities of assets to be tokenized. Also, we are developing DAOs, and as I said, dApps, DeFi, I mean, all related to the Web3 ecosystem. That's our company main business core. Also, we have experience in ICO and IDO projects. These are the initial coin offering or initial DEX offering. So I think this is just a quick resume of our company's capability of doing. So, well, we are looking forward to make possible explore businesses with Singapore Fintech ecosystem, with different companies who are willing and who need developers in blockchain, and also companies that would like to commercialize our products or our products, because we have a lot of capability of developing products and we have lots of experience. So that's our main business, to develop blockchain solutions according to our customers' needs. I mean, it's a personalized solution, and that's our business, and that's where we are willing to be able to expand our customers. Nowadays, we have mainly our customers are in Europe and United States, but we are very interested to expand our businesses to Southeast Asia, to Singapore, Malaysia, and all countries in Southeast Asia. So that's we are here, and well, thanks for the opportunity. I think I was clear. If not, we are just contact us or make us questions if I wasn't clear in my exposition.
Thank you very much, Juan Manuel Pacheco.
No worries.
And now we will go back to our screen, and I would like to welcome Mr. Juan Prado, Commercial Director at Itld. Over to you, Juan Prado, please.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. My name is Juan Prado. I'm Chief Commercial Officer at Itld. It's a pleasure for us to be part of this event. Next, please. So what is Itld? Itld is a software company founded in 2009 in Cordoba, Argentina, that specializes in development and support software solutions for top customers around the world. Our focus is on developing the right technology involving the right people while adapting to any process. In 2009, we started working in the banking industry for one of the biggest banks in America. So from the beginning, we used to specialize in the financial area. And as time went by, we decided to go further. And now we are offering a whole suite of services from staff augmentation, complete agile teams, and ad hoc solutions, mainly focused in digital transformation for the fintech industry. We are currently providing services all along Chile, Argentina, Mexico, Canada, USA, and also Spain, with over 100 engineers and over 35 ongoing projects. Our main partners are currently Microsoft and IBM. Next, please. Yeah, so about our services. Number one, staff augmentation. It's our main focus now. It consists in adding expert IT professionals to provide external services that can work itself or join a team to increase capacity operating under customer management. Number two, agile teams that are fully integrated by Itld members, working together to achieve the best possible result. Work plan, in this case, is dynamic, defined together with the client, and daily reviewed and updated by our team. And finally, ad hoc solutions involves integral solutions from start to finish, in which the client specifies needs, and our team create a plan to achieve the goals, being responsible for the plan execution. Next, please. So what is Itld unique value proposition? We offer exclusive services based on building trust in order to meet the client needs, ensuring the service quality and guaranteeing world-class standards at globally competitive rates. Which are our foundations? Number one, nearshoring. It's what we call kind of offshoring evolution. Teams of professionals who are physically located in areas close to client offices, people that speak your language and share your working habits and time frame. Nearshoring allows us to reaching the best talents in the shortest time. Number 2, digital transformation, enterprise-wide application of technology and methodology to streamline processes, improve competitiveness, and offer new added value to your clients. And finally, we are a leading technology provider and experts from the world of fintech, health tech, and logistics. As regard our areas, we work from the top level to the core, which means front end, back end, mobile, APIs, middleware, cloud, Devops, and core. Next, please. In addition to the previous slide, these are our main technologies. Regarding backend, we work with Java, Node, MongoDB, Postgres, Spring, Express. About frontend, React, Angular, Material Design, Electron. In the mobile perspective, iOS, iPad, React Native, Ionic, Android. About API and middleware, Open Graph, REST API, OAuth, IBM API Connect, and Oracle Service Bus as well. About cloud and DevOps, we used to work with Docker, Kubernetes, GCP, AWS, GitHub, Bitbucket, Jenkins, and finally, with the core, IBM, COBOL, and Oracle FlexCube as well. Besides that, we have a lot of expertise in financial systems like credit cards, payments, credit transfers, online banking, integrity check, knowing your customer, anti-money laundering, and much more. Next, please. So, thanks so much. That was all for today from my part. Again, it was a pleasure to meet you, and feel free to reach us for a future call.
Thank you very much, Juan. Next, we will hear from Crowdart. I believe Mr. Javier is not here, but instead it will be Mr. Agustin who will give this presentation.
Thanks, Karina.
Thank you, Agustin.
So this is the quote that we have used for this presentation: a life jacket to help in the storms of digital transformation, a partner model to repair the wounds of digital transformation. So with this presentation, I'll try to explain why the digital transformation is a huge storm for the IT teams, right? And how our company has been trying to help as a life jacket to these people who is sailing in these seas, you know, with large waves. Can you please move to the next slide, please? So he's Javier. He's our CEO in Crowdart. He has more than 20 years of experience in working with technology. I am one of the QA architects of the company. I have more than 15 years working on technology too. So now he's flying to Chile. That's why he can be here with us. But yeah, I'll cover most of the details of this presentation. So this is what I try to mean when I said like a storm, right? So first of all, it's like we all know that digital transformation means using technologies to create new or optimize existing processes, culture, and customer experiences, right? So technology is implementing to meet changing business and market needs and to take company into the digital future. But the digital transformation adoption impacts the entire organization and especially the IT team. And that's because everyone is looking at the IT team because that's the team which is implementing the technology. So I'll try to cover this explaining the problem first and the solution later. Next slide, please. So this is one of the statements we used to hear from our clients. We have the latest cloud technology, but we don't know how to attend incidents. That's because digital transformation makes people aware that they have to use the latest technology, but sometimes the knowledge in how to do it doesn't come with it. So this is one of the statements. Can you please move to the next slide? This is another statement. We don't need quality assurance at this stage because our priority to build more product feature is the main one. And yes, and perhaps some teams has, you know, some type of manual testers, but at the end, and if you move to the next slide, it produced the issue that perhaps the first release is a good one that has something that is working nicely, but every time they are putting a new change into production, they are breaking existing functionality. And that's because the time they have to test or retest existing feature is not enough. So maybe they are releasing a new change that was properly tested, but that is breaking existing functionality. So the software is working, but every new feature is breaking existing one. So that's where we are, and that's what we propose. So we provide these two types of services. DevOps first, so we provide the experience of people that has been working a lot of time with DevOps. I mean, infrastructure, different types of technologies. And on the other hand, we have QA experience also, not just testing functional requirements, but also taking care of different type of testings in the development pipeline. Next slide. So as examples, in the DevOps side, we have architecture, design, and implementation. We have coaching on DevOps, and we have support and maintenance. Regarding QA, we have test automation as our main feature, functional testing, stress and performance testing, security testing, and coaching in QA. Next slide. So this is one of the examples of one of our customers, Banco Vice, which is a bank. So the issue they have is that they were starting using like some kind of Selenium framework for doing test automation, but they didn't know how to do it, right? So they had this issue that I mentioned before, that every release was breaking existing functionality, and that's because they didn't have enough time for testing everything, for retesting everything. So the issue here is that they were needing more capacity and more automated tests. So what we have done in this project is we train people and we implemented new frameworks and processes to allow the team to create more automated tests. So after 6 months, we were able to face this issue and to solve this problem. Next slide. In this case study, the issue was regarding DevOps. So Consorcio is another company that was facing a problem that with the digital transformation, they know they have to implement new tools like Kubernetes, but they didn't know how to do it properly. So they implemented a cluster with Kubernetes, but they were using the same cluster for all of the environments they have in their development pipeline. So that was an issue because every time they needed to do a new deployment, they were breaking, other environments. So we rebuilt the Kubernetes cluster in AWS, and we implement this scalable model. So we were able to make things easier, and now they are doing automated deployment. They call it continuous deployment, and yeah, that's how we fix it. Next slide. So those were just two examples of two companies that we work with them. So, but we don't call them clients. We are just the same team. So we work as partners of our customers, and we try to be we try to have our processes with them, with their processes, and join forces to accomplish their goals. Next slide. Those are most of our clients there. We have almost 40 clients right now. And next slide is to thank you guys for the space. And yeah, let me know if you have some questions.
Thank you very much, Agustin, for your presentation. Next, I would like to introduce and give the floor to Mr. Guillermo Lopez, Chief Growth Officer at RedB. Over to you, Guillermo.
Well, thank you. Good morning for the people in Singapore. Good evening for my colleagues in Argentina. First of all, I would like to thank you for this opportunity. It's a pleasure and honor for me to introduce RedB to all of you. Next, please. So RedB is an 11-year-old company born and raised during the payments revolution here in the region in Latin America. We are jumping between the fintechs and startups working on end-to-end technologies and experience. So as well as we grew up almost hand in hand with fintechs and startups, it also allowed us to bring the startup spirits to the traditional financial service sector, helping them along the way to build their fintech agenda. And next, please. So from now on, in the next 6 slides, we will walk through the RedB way. The RedB way is the way we create to bring value to our customers as well as our talent. Our talent is the very important part of our success story. So in the next slide, I will talk about why RedB, our way for business transformation, our footprints, and finally our culture and main customers. So now it's why RedB. RedB it's a company with focus on value delivery, in customer interactions. So in those ways that we can add value to the customers. So because of that, we are adapting our actions. We have clients as a team members and not clients as overseas. So our customers success, we are a customer success oriented company. And we also have our teams empower, and we allow them to make their own decisions. So this is why we have an incremental value on our teams. Next, please. So on top of the traditional staff augmentation line of services that we have 3 ways of business transformation. So we have fast delivery, deep knowledge, and scalability. Our fast delivery is designed specifically to provide delivery for a tight schedules, very short or medium projects with focus on backlog optimizations, delivery focus, lean mindset, and we can leverage in tools and shortcuts. With focus specifically mainly in products, technology, operations, and with some flavors on industry. In case of the deep knowledge, is our consultancy area. Yeah, we can tackle complex implementation. We have a lot of expertise in complex software development, proof of concept, huge touch developments, product discoveries. For example, with focus on industry knowledge, technology, because it's extremely important in this case. The knowledge, technology for the industry with some flavor on products and operations. And then the scalability, it's the longer path. We have huge teams working with our customers, working on the agility methodologies with big teams, not only big, some multiple knowledge in the teams, long-term growth plan, and accountable for the results. So now here we have main focus on operations and industry knowledge, technology, and product development. Next, please. Here you can see our footprint, our technology stack. So we can go with SQL, Java, Spring Boot, Angular, Spring, now JS. While we have too many technologies in our technology stack, we have and more than 10 years in the market. So we have more than 200 successful projects already implemented in more than 40 customers. Mostly of them around the financial sector. So you can see our project is up 40% of the projects around the fintech, 20% of the projects regular bank, and the rest are in retail. But as you see, as you can see in the market, so retail now it's going through the fintech arena also. So we can add in value them in that area. We are experiencing a 50% of growth year to year, so in the last 3 years. And we have our main delivery center in Argentina, but with global execution, and probably we can send some good news in the near future with a new delivery center in Latin America. Next, please. How we support all our execution. We have the execution with some practices. We have engineering practice, operation practice, and product practice. So when we are supporting all our projects, what I try to say, so we have some quality or infrastructure or front ends on all around the engineering knowledge. We have operations in case of the execution with focus on customer, and we have a business analytics, data and design around the product. So we offer really it's a good balance in terms of product, technology, and operations. So and then we are based on the most relevant practices in the market. So now we have really we are an agile native company, and this mindset is designed to create a data-driven value delivery. So, and this is why we have the huge impact in our customers and in the business of our customers. Next, please. So now I would like to talk a little bit about the most important aspect we can remark in Red B is our culture. So we use the acronym ACTIVA in Spanish. It means active in English, because we cause immediate impact in our customers and our team. So we have 4 pillars in our culture. One is the adaptability. So we can work in several and challenging environments. So we are a very collaborative company with our team and with our customers. So we are all one team. Also, one of the most important thing here is transparency. When we take responsibility, we are straightforward to the results. So, and then finally we are really with focus in impact in value. So as the value could vary in all the project, we can focus on this value and the impact. So we understand that the impact and the value is one of the most important things for our customers. And finally, in the next slide, you can see our customer. Next, please. Thank you. We have some of our main customers here. We go through all the value chains through the value chain on payment procedure, also in the bank in the bank industry. So we have in insurance, and we have many experience alongside the value chain of payments. The last one is just to thank you. It was a pleasure for Red B to be here, and I hope the presentation was clear and useful for the audience. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Guillermo. And now I would like to welcome our last speaker, Mr. Ezequiel Bucay, CEO at VBond. Over to you, Ezequiel, please.
Thank you, Karina. Good morning for everyone, and good evening here in Argentina. I'm Ezequiel Bucay. I'm the CEO of Webon. Webon is a buy now, pay later solution in Latin America. We are enabling 200 million underbanked consumers without a credit card to shop online for the first time and pay in installments. Next, please. So Webon is more similar to a firm in Latin America, and as I said, we are enabling 200 million underbanked consumers without credit card. And our mission is to shop online for the first time with a digital loan. We have partnered with 500 different merchants in Latin America, and for example, like Samsung, like Lenovo, like Motorola. And what we do is we offer a loan to the user to buy a cell phone, for example, or a TV, or a fridge, or a mattress, and they can buy it in up to 12 installments. We have 100K in monthly revenue. We are growing at 65% in the countries that we operate now in Latin America. And for us, the most important thing is that the 45% of our new customers is the first time that they shop online. So we are second-time entrepreneurs. We exited our first company to ClassPass 3 years ago. And our solution is for the working class people of Latin America. We started the company, next please, because the 85% of the population in Latin America, they don't have credit card, and the only way that they have to finance their purchases is to pay extremely high interest rate to these informal lenders, and the consequence of this is that the 25% of the in a decrease of the conversion rate of the stores, because they don't have access to this market. The user that they don't have, if they don't have credit card, they don't have money, for example, to buy a cell phone. And the solution, next. It's a platform to buy now and pay later the large purchase items in premium e-commerces without credit card, with a loan that the users can pay in up to 12 installments. Next. Sí, hola, ahí está. So we are the founding team of ClickPass. It was a membership program that we exited 3 years ago to ClassPass. Then we started Webon. We made in total 10,000 transactions in 1 year and a half, and now we are trying to, we just raised $6 million on a seed round, and now we are trying to expand our solution in every country of Latin America. So thank for the opportunity to speak here, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Ezequiel. And thank you so much to all of our speakers today. Now we are moving on to our Q&A session. So if I could actually have all of our Argentina FinTech speakers turn on their camera, I could ask a question from you that I have received. So the question I would like to ask is, what would you tell Singapore companies who would like to expand to Argentina? Any tips or recommendations that the Singapore companies should make note of to prepare for entering Argentina? Maybe Ezequiel or Guillermo, who wants to go first?
I think that it's important to study the regulation here. We have a specific regulation and a lot of laws, rules by the central bank, and there is an opportunity there, because if they study the correct laws and they implement the systems that the central bank created for the fintech, there is a good opportunity.
Yeah, I think that in top of the regulation that Ezequiel mentioned, if they will stay here, they should take care, or they should take some yeah, take care could be about the talent, no, the people who will work from Argentina. For them, it's important. We have huge talent, good talent, but it's part of the game, no? It's the talent is part of the game, and it's important to have good talent, and I think it's a key situation here.
Thank you, Guillermo. And Juan Manuel Pacheco.
Yeah. Pacheco, okay.
To Juan Manuel in the meeting. Yes, as Ezequiel and Guillermo said, it's important to understand the other regulations and the government rules and the regulations for foreign companies that want to come here. I think it will be great for the country if currencies from Singapore enter to the country. So we'll be pleased for foreign currencies to enter here. So there are great opportunities. And as Guillermo said, also here's great talent. So we will have great potential to hire engineers and all technology staff, because there's a great talent. And also for costs, would be an advantage to establish here, because costs are much cheaper than hiring an Australian IT guy or a person from the States.
Yes, I think basically the same. I think the main challenge will be the regulations. I think Argentina is a country with a lot of really good talents. And of course, Argentina has really competitive rates to the world.
Thank you. And would Agustin like to add something?
No, it's fine. I think that most of the guys cover most of the things here in Argentina, know the laws and regulations that we have here in Argentina, especially for the central bank. And yes, I agree that Argentina has a lot of good talent, especially in IT, right? So yes, nothing to add.
Thank you very much for all these tips and recommendations. At this point, we will go back to our slides, and we will pull up this poll to let the Singapore companies know that they can connect with you. We will introduce you to one another by email, so you can take it from there. Singapore companies, please indicate which company you would like to connect with, and we will introduce you to one another by email. Thank you. Let's see, do we have, I think we don't have any more questions. So I would like to thank everyone. We're almost at the end of our webinar. I will just quickly run through and show a few of our programs for Singapore companies. The FTA team is offering complimentary one-to-one advisory services for the Singapore business community. We have this Sustainability Professionals Program, a career conversion program for companies. Do reach out to us if you're interested. And we are also helping companies build their internationalization capabilities. We have another career conversion program for internationalization professionals, supporting enterprises to recruit and train experienced individuals. To find out more, please scan the QR code, or you may reach out to us by email. Ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency Nine, our esteemed speakers and guests from Singapore and Argentina, we have come to the end of our webinar. Thank you so much for attending our webinar. We would appreciate it if you can please scan the QR code to give us your feedback about the webinar. Once again, thank you to our co-organizer, the Embassy of Argentina to Singapore, and our partners, Argentine Chamber of Fintech, Argentine Chamber of Software Industries, CESI, Singapore Fintech Association, SG Tech, and our supporter, Enterprise Singapore. Thank you again, and have a good rest of the day, and good evening, and good night to Argentina. Thank you.
Muchas gracias. Thank you.
Thanks to you. Gracias.
Thank you
Thank
to
you.
everybody.